Michael Wilkes. Sam Lacavera. And Gary Thayer. Enjoy the show.
Man in Cleveland right now will show you what local fans think of Browns owner Art Modell, who could be called public enemy number one.
The news on Channel 8 is coming up next.
8 is news.
The city that has embraced this Cleveland Browns team for so many years does so for what could be the last time. Players and fans share a final victory at Cleveland Stadium.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Lisa Goff in for Lori Jennings.
And I'm Wayne Dawson. The final gun has sounded. The game is over. But is it the end of a long tradition here in Cleveland?
That's the way it looks right now, but depending, of course, on how the effort goes to keep the Browns, today's game will possibly be the last one the Browns play at the stadium.
Lisa, if Art Modell has his way, the Browns will be playing next season in the city of Baltimore. Tonight we have team coverage, beginning with Channel 8 News reporter Ray Harris, who joins us live now from Cleveland Stadium. Ray, tell me, what was it like when the gun sounded and the game was over today?
Well, Wayne, I can tell you this. It's quiet now compared to just a short time ago. Fourth quarter, the clock trickling down the last few seconds between the Browns and the Bengals. That's when the fans started expressing their emotions, and they expressed them in many different ways. For some, it was too much to bear. You leave a lot of memories here, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, really sad to see him go. Just don't even know how to react.
Some knew exactly what they wanted to do. Seats that have been in place since 1931 were torn out and taken home for mementos.
That's promotional.
Today's ticket also served as a souvenir. When fans headed through the turnstile, the final game tickets were embossed with the date and handed back to the fans. Browns fans tell us their discomfort comes from the team owner, Art Modell.
It hurts. The guys ripped my heart out. But you know what? We'll get another team and we'll go to the Super Bowl before Art Modell does. C3 and 4, Section 11, Row 2.
It was a good game, and I'm glad I came. But
I am just going to end that there because, you know, that girl said something bad about Art Modell not winning a Super Bowl before us. But hey, everybody, welcome to the Browns Morning Brew. This is Week 11 pregame show against the 4-5 Ravens at the 2-7 Cleveland Browns tomorrow, actually, at 4:25 kickoff. Get to see some AFC North football. Before we start off with that, I want to give a huge shout out to Bernie and his family right now. We need some prayers up for him as he got his surgery done. And man, this is just a couple months ago with us guys here from the Bearded Browns podcast meeting up with Bernie and Brook Park, and that was at the meeting for the High School Football Hall of Fame, which was awesome to be able to see Bernie there, meet him in person, talk to him for a while. We had a good interview with him. But
prayers up for Bernie, man. It is really hard seeing, Cleveland legend, the way he is right now. Somebody that we've all, a lot of us, he was the guy growing up for us. He is Mr. Cleveland Brown. And with the theme of today's show, kind of talking about, today we're going to be talking a lot about, Cleveland legends that, you can't really necessarily celebrate anymore because of kind of their history with the Browns and, things that have happened. As we're talking about Browns Ravens, this is a legend that you can celebrate. This is a guy that that should be in the Browns Ring of Honor. That's not. It's just despicable that Bernie is not in the Ring of Honor. He is. I mean, you have a guy here that was an All-Pro quarterback for us that brought us to AFC Championship games. You had a guy that How many players have we had that maneuvered their way out of Cleveland? And this is a guy that maneuvered his way into Cleveland through the supplemental draft. Especially after the unceremonious way that Art Modell and Bill Belichick sent him out of Cleveland, he came back, and he's still a part of this community. He loved Bernie. So sending so many prayers out to him that you just don't want to see him like this, man. So just prayers to Bernie, man. Just hoping one of these surgeries takes, and we can get him back and healthy again.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Well, you guys know it. I'm Mike Wilkes. This is our beautiful, handsome co-host, Gary Lee, today.
Hello there.
Hello there.
Hello there.
We're gonna talk the history between these teams. Yeah, that bitter rivalry for Cleveland. We're gonna talk about the Cleveland Browns, what they got to do to win this game. Is that even possible? Probably not. But Gary, let's get into some of this history from Cleveland Browns versus Ravens.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that starting off, I understand that this stuff was 30 years ago. So a lot of Browns fans were not even alive when a lot of this history happened. But this history did happen. And, the Browns were ripped from, for us, I feel like now one of my grandparents talking about World War II. You weren't alive for it. So you don't really feel it the way some of us felt it. But I mean, when this happened, this took over our, our English assignments in high school were writing letters to the NFL to save the Browns. I mean, it took over everything. You saw in that video package beforehand how upset people were. I mean, it took away a piece of this city, the heart of the city. And even though the Browns came back, the heart never came back. And a lot of that has to do with, seeing the Ravens as soon as they go to Baltimore really becoming, I guess it's not as soon as, because they were there, 96. They still weren't very good when they had Ted Marchibroda. They fired Belichick. Ted Marchibroda is there, but, you have Ray Lewis is there and Jonathan Ogden. And, they pretty much, they turn it around under Modell, and they bring Modell a winner. And when you think of Art Modell, it's not just the ripping of the Browns away from the city of Cleveland. Think of all of the Cleveland legends that under Art Modell that were not able to be celebrated here in Cleveland. I mean, Jim Brown was out with the Cleveland Browns under Art Modell. There's a Paul Brown Stadium in the NFL, and it's not in Cleveland. Paul Brown,
definitely in Ohio.
It's in Ohio, and it's not in Cleveland, right? That's ridiculous. Ozzie Newsome, the greatest tight end of all time, is not celebrated here in Cleveland. He was a Cleveland Brown.
I think a lot of the fans celebrate him. The organization as a whole does not.
I think even as a fan, I don't celebrate him because he's the architect of those Baltimore Raven teams. I understand. I understand why he went down there, why he took
Check
that
your text
opportunity.
message real quick.
I don't begrudge him, but I don't. I don't begrudge him for taking the opportunity. Oh, my mic fell. Sorry about that, guys. I don't begrudge him for taking the opportunity. I understand why he took it, right? But the fact is of all of the opportunities he could have taken, he took the Ravens opportunity, and he took the one with Modell. Brownie the Elf, Ken is saying Brownie the Elf was out because of Modell. So we had an owner here, for 30 years ago. We had an owner for 30 years. So it's really you had a dynasty here for the Browns, and then 60 years of Cleveland Browns history was marred because of this guy. In the last 30 years, we've been really trying to recover, and it's been very hard. It's just, so this here in Cleveland, it's much more of a rivalry here, or it should be much more of a rivalry here than it is in Baltimore. In Baltimore, their rivalry is Pittsburgh, which was our rivalry.
I get it. It's a divisional rivalry thing, but there's much more to Cleveland with this playing Baltimore than there is, just the division, which creates a whole bunch of division.
Absolutely. Typical Browns fan brings up a very good point, and that's what I'm saying. I don't begrudge Ozzie for taking that opportunity. He should have taken that opportunity. I just wish it would have been one of the 29 other teams that had offered him that opportunity. But the fact is that he did it for the Ravens.
If you guys don't know, it's the legendary Pro Football Hall of Fame tight end who played for the Browns from 78 to 90. Was a guru in evaluating talent since he followed Modell, who hired him on the Browns front office in 92, the Baltimore teams as a new director of player personnel, and then the team's GM in 2002. And that was helping them draft people such as standout players as Hall of Fame players, Ray Lewis, Jamal Lewis, Jonathan Ogden, and Joe Flacco. Trading for or signing standout players such as Steve Smith Sr., Priest Holmes. Man, I forgot about that guy, which it's much to the chagrin of the Browns fans, gratefully contributed to the Ravens' dominance over Newsom's former team, which, what a shot in the face, man. But do you blame the guy?
I don't blame him. You blame Modell.
No, absolutely, 100%.
And the issue is Modell. Modell is the reason why you cannot celebrate, why a lot of these Browns greats are not celebrated.
Yeah.
Fact. And that will never be, and until the Browns are something in the NFL, until the Browns can make an AFC championship game, until the Browns have sustained winning, until the Browns turn it around, this is going to be the monkey on their back. This is every time you play the Ravens, this is going to be something, especially for older Browns fans, which I can't believe I'm an older Browns fan now. This is going to be something that comes up and something that we're going to feel every time that we play the Ravens.
Yeah, it is. We looked up our record at home just against the Ravens. We are 9-17. That's on our turf, 9-17. Away, we're 6-21. In that video, you heard the lady say that, Hart, we're going to get a Super Bowl before you. No, they accomplished that in 2000 and in 2012. We are still yet to have one.
Yeah.
Not only that, this year was the 30th year anniversary of the Ravens, and we talked about it on a Tuesday show a while back, but when they actually did it, week 2, they celebrated their 30-year anniversary playing against the Browns. I'm just going to say, what a dick move. I thought it was. But
yeah, but should you not, if you're the Ravens, though, why would you not celebrate the 30th anniversary of the creation of your team? If you're in Baltimore, you're proud. In the last 30 years, you've won 2 Super Bowls.
But they knew what they were doing, especially with Joe Flacco being at the helm of the Browns at the moment. It was, come on. What do you do? Wait for Joe Flacco, and they want to announce your name as, one of the Super Bowl winners in 2012. And you're in the opposing team in Baltimore.
And the irony of all of this is that both Super Bowl quarterback winners of those teams, the Browns have signed at some point to be a savior of the organization. We signed Trent Dilfer. And then we signed Joe Flacco. We signed Jamal Lewis.
I remember that.
We signed, so it, it's just been a very sad existence for the Browns. And every time you play the Ravens, it's a reminder of that.
Here, I'm going to bring up a picture I want you to talk about.
Steve, that is my guy. That is another guy right there that should be celebrated. This guy should have a statue out in front of whatever stadium the Browns are playing at. Steve Everett should have a statue. This guy, you want to talk about having guts, being a Clevelander, being a Cleveland Brown. This guy had to play for the Ravens. He was under contract to Art Modell and was out there wearing Browns gear underneath his Ravens gear because he was a Cleveland Brown through and through, wearing brown shirts, wearing that Browns bandana, all pro center, and was a Cleveland Brown through and through. And there's no relationship with him and the Cleveland Browns right now. You know, that's another thing that that needs to be fixed with the Browns is the Browns the Browns don't have a good relationship with the Browns. You know, you got guys like Eric Metcalf who want to be a part of this organization. That should be a part of this organization. How long did Bernie want to be a part of this organization? Did he beg? One of the smartest football guys ever to football. And never brought in to be a part of this organization. I'm not saying these guys should be the GM. They should be a part of the organization, though.
He was announcing some games there for a while.
Until he wasn't. Until he said something naughty. Until he said something they didn't like about the Rams.
Well, that and his health didn't help that situation at all. So he took his time.
But that was still the Browns. The Browns were still back for 15 years before they even gave him a shot.
The Browns is the Browns, man.
You know, how long were the Browns have been looking for a quarterback whole time?
99?
Since 99, the whole time they've been back. And the only, other than Testaverde, the only decent quarterback of our lifetime, right? The most cerebral quarterback of our lifetime is saying, hey, let me be part of this process with you. Even public facing, you're not letting this guy be a part of that process. Nothing else has worked. You know, the Browns, at this point, I just don't know why you're not. You have guys that are Cleveland Browns, you know, that played for the Browns, that in their heart are Browns. Their passion is the Cleveland Browns. They want to turn this around. They want to be a part of the turnaround. Why aren't you letting these guys be a part of it?
They're a part of it,
but they're not.
Their hearts are there. But
they're not.
What matters most.
But they're not.
We know the whole organization just sucks in general. So I've been trying to get on the media list for 2 years. I haven't even gotten an email back. They suck as well. Yep, I'm gonna say
that's not a way to get on it, though, buddy.
I'll figure out a way.
But you know what I mean? Like you have all these guys that were Cleveland that are Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, I get it.
They're Browns. They are Browns.
Yes,
and their passion is the Browns. And it's not like they're Browns the way that we are. You know, they're Cleveland fans. They're not fans. They are Browns. They broke bones and sweat and bled for the Browns, and their passion is turning this around. Let them in.
I don't know. I do have a question while you're talking about letting people in and maybe go. I'm going to pull up another picture here, and I want you guys to pick one in the chat. I want to know, you could keep one, get rid of one. Who would it be? Come on, take your pick, guys. Who would it be here out of these two guys? No, infamous Bill Belichick and Art Modell looking down in disdain because he is a moron.
Now here's the thing that people will not remember.
He's not a moron.
Especially if, like, you younger fans, people in Cleveland hated Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick was a moron when he was here. I'm not saying he was a moron, but you listen to talk radio at that time, people hated Bill Belichick. You would have thought that he was the worst coach that ever coached in the NFL when he was here. And then he turned the team around, brought them to the playoffs, and then, you know, they left. So Belichick never really had a chance here.
But is that a Cleveland thing? Is that what's going on right now with Stefanski? He brought the team up, and then now we're right back down. We're just going to stay there? Like,
For sure. And Ken's bringing up Todd Philcox, and that's one of the reasons why people hated Belichick. But you know what? I love Bernie. But Bernie didn't get a starting job after that. Bernie was a backup in Dallas and then was a backup in Miami after that. He was a high-end backup. He was a backup to Aikman, and he was a backup to Marino, but he wasn't a starter after that. And it's not like in the 90s, people weren't looking for quarterbacks. People still needed quarterbacks in the 90s. So, it was hard, but we were in a situation there too. In the 80s and 90s, Bernie was not protected. Bernie got killed as the quarterback of the Browns. Bernie got murdered. And then it didn't help when Philcox, he had 4 turnovers in that first half of his first game. So like Philcox didn't, look good here when he first came in after Bernie. But you know what? You got Testaverde afterwards. And if you take away Testaverde's Tampa Bay years, he's probably a Hall of Famer.
I agree.
Testaverde looked good with us. He looked good as a Raven. And then his years as a Jet, man, forget about it.
Oh, man. The infamous Jet years.
Yeah, I mean, Testaverde was a good quarterback. So, Belichick wasn't wrong. It hurt. I love it. I mean, let me tell you this. My parents would never spend money on jerseys because they were expensive. You know what I mean? It was like, why would you waste that money? The first jersey I ever got that I was allowed to have was a Bernie Kosar Dallas Cowboys jersey. That was the first time that we were allowed to spend money on a because they were so upset over what happened. We were Bernie guys. So I mean, I was 13 years old. I was upset. My parents, my parents were upset. We took the side of Bernie, but with hindsight being 2020, it was probably the right call.
Yeah, I agree. Let's get back onto this. We all love you, Bernie. Thank you for all the great things you brought to Cleveland, the great things you're still bringing to Cleveland, and we look forward to meeting you again. But guys, last time we didn't beat the Ravens. Last time we played them was week 2. We lost 41-17. Lamar Jackson threw 4 touchdowns. And we're going to get more into the offensive side of the ball, but he was injured week 4 and came back, 2 weeks ago? So he's slowly but surely getting his rhythm back. And could that be today in Cleveland where he gets it back and just dominates us? I think so. Unfortunately, as much as I hate to say that, I think it's more than likely going to happen. But in 2001, week 6, we beat the new Ravens for the first time, the old Browns, 24-14 in Cleveland. The first time we ever did beat the Baltimore Ravens, which is kind of cool if you look at it. That was when it was a bitter rivalry. Cleveland was still pissed off, but
not like it was.
Well, the players knew back then too. Like the players knew, like the rivalry was there. This is what happened. Players nowadays don't.
I mean, people thought LeBron James had it bad when he came back as the first game of the Heat. LeBron James, when he came back Yeah, when he came back first game with the Heat, they thought that was bad. Man, when the Ravens first came, Art Modell never stepped foot back in Cleveland after he moved the team, ever.
I thought it was going to be Bottlegate all over again.
I mean, I thought there was going to be a murder. He was enemy number 1 to the day he died, and his son too.
Yeah.
And you can go back and forth over who was at fault on it. There's a lot of people that have opinions. As time goes on, there are people who will blame the city more than they will blame him for people. If you weren't there and you look back, I've seen some people talk about the city. It wasn't the city. You're talking about a guy, Art Modell, who had to take a personal loan out to sign Andre Rison. He owned a football team who sold out every game. This was back in the day when they didn't broadcast home games unless they were sold out, and Browns games were always broadcast. You had an 80,000 person stadium sold out every game. There's no reason to be taking personal loans to sign your wide receivers. And he was going bankrupt in Baltimore too, which is why he ended up having to sell the team. He was one of the worst businessmen to ever own a team in the NFL. Could you imagine an NFL owner nowadays going bankrupt?
No, but
and to think that this guy even gets a nod from anybody to go into the Hall of Fame is crazy. He eventually will, though. Once our generation's gone, once we're dead and gone, and he will be posthumously put into the Hall of Fame once we're all dead and gone. Which is a shame. I know this is supposed to be just a preview of the game, but
we're going with some history here.
Going with a little bit of history here. It's just a shame. What we need to see here is, we need to see the Browns defense really not give up. Myles Garrett, he has 8.5 sacks against Lamar Jackson in his career, including the 1.5 that he had in week 2.
I see a lot of that tomorrow.
You got to hope so, because Lamar Jackson's injury is a leg injury. So if there's a time to really put him down, this is it. He's not going to be running the way he was, against us earlier in the year and the way he has in the past. We do have some injuries on the interior line this week. So, Michael Hall, we'll see. I mean, who knows how much Michael Hall is going to play this week? I mean, he's had
3 snaps last week.
He's had 6 snaps this year. So you're going to go from 6 snaps to playing a whole game? Probably not.
Yeah, because Malik Collins is questionable out with the torso injury. So you might see more Mike Hall. And then you might see Cameron Thomas in there for Alex Wright as well.
Yeah, but I mean, Mike Hall's not isn't injury free right now. He's not healthy. So who knows? Who knows what you're going to see out of this defense this week?
Yeah. Really quick before we go along, I want to let everybody know that today on the show we are giving away a $40 gift certificate to Lego Heads Barbershop Saloon, and this awesome extra sauce for your beard, your head, whatever you want to use it on. You use it at your own leisure. But we're giving away that to whoever subscribes, follows, likes, comments, shares. We're going to pick a random winner, and we will announce that on Tuesday's show. And be sure to check them out at LegoHeadsBarberSaloon.com. Located in Berea. Marlon's a great guy. Gives you a nice fade. This is all bed, beard, and head. That's why I'm wearing a hat today. But shout out to Marlon at Lego Heads. Dude.
I love Marlon, man, dude. Marlon is the truth when it comes to fades, man.
Facts. But I woke up with bedhead, so I'm wearing a hat today. And you can tell by my beard. I didn't even put the oil in yet. I got to shower. But I'm going to mow the yard after this because I'm from Ohio. So, what was I was going to bring up something else here. What was that? Oh, yeah. Today, the North Ridgeville Browns backers. I'm sorry, why is that there? The North Ridgeville Browns backers bash today, 1 to 3:30 at Between the Bun, located at 3445 Center Ridge Road in North Ridgeville. They're going to have a special appearance by Felix Wright and the Tito's Vodka Girls with 50-50 raffles and autographed photos, as well as the Las Vegas Dog Pound Browns backers bash next Saturday. We're going against the Raiders, November 22nd. This is a Saturday, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. They're going to have raffles, drink specials, and more. That's located at the Bend across from IKEA. There's the address for you. Guys, they're going to have Gary Barnage and Eric Metcalf's going to be there as well. So it's going to be a cool event. Get down there if you're out there in that area, or you're going down there to tailgate. Get down there.
Hey, man, go out and have some fun, man. Shout out to Eric Metcalf. Let's get him in the front office, man.
He said he would do it.
Okay, and talking about like Eric Metcalf, Eric Metcalf should be in the Hall of Fame. Eric Metcalf is a dude. When you talk about like a guy that changed the game, that dude had that. When you talk about like all-purpose yards in the NFL, there's not many guys that can touch him. I don't have the stats off the top of my head, but that guy is in the top in the NFL in all-purpose yards. He was a guy there weren't running backs catching the ball out of the backfield like Eric Metcalf until Eric Metcalf.
And then he goes to
then he goes to Atlanta and he has 1,000 receiving yard years in Atlanta and that run and gun offense playing down for Jerry Glanville. Get out of here. Eric Metcalf is a Hall of Famer. Eric Metcalf changed how running backs were used in the NFL. Eric Metcalf's a Hall of Famer. That's right, Ken. He was a beast. You know, his running numbers may not have been there, but it's because he was used differently.
Definitely used differently.
He was used differently, man. Eric Metcalf's a Hall of Famer. So that's two things for Eric Metcalf. Get him in the Hall of Fame and put him in the front office.
Said he would do it. Looking forward to it.
Let's get a petition started. Bearded Browns podcast. Wait, Harry, you don't remember Barnage? You don't remember Barnage?
Gary Barnage?
Get out of here.
Hmm.
Sean, what are you disagreeing about? You disagreeing about the Hall of Fame? All right, so I'm going to pull up Metcalf's stats here. Now you're going to force me to pull them up here.
I almost closed the entire show because of that. No, stats.
Eric Metcalf, so he has 17,230 total career yards, including 2,392 rushing yards, 5,572 career receiving yards, 11,442 return yards. Get out of here.
6 years with the Browns, 89 to 95. Monster.
17,230 yards. Let's see where that ranks. Where does Eric Metcalf rank in total yards?
A lot. We had him on the show. It was a great interview. We were all kind of fanboying hard that show, but we got through it.
Eric Metcalf is number 18 all time in career yards.
Roger Craig.
Let's see here. Where does Roger Craig rank? I mean, here's the thing. Roger Craig's not a Brown.
I think he's trying to compare. Yeah, I think he's trying to compare it the best.
So Roger Craig is 40. Let's see here. Roger Craig ranks 46th in rushing yards and 49th in yards from scrimmage.
Bit of a difference.
Bit of a difference there. So Eric Metcalf was more productive than Roger Craig.
All day.
You know, Eric Metcalf is very, very, very underrated. You know, Eric Metcalf deserves at least some Hall of Fame consideration. If you don't think he should be in there, he should at least be considered. You know, he should be in there. He should be considered for the Hall of Fame. He should be considered for the put a Eric Metcalf in.
Put a Eric Metcalf in. I like it.
Put a Eric Metcalf on.
I'm gonna record that later. We're gonna put that on the show. Let's get into the game, guys.
Offensive game plan. So we're talking about Dillon Gabriel. This may or may not be his last game. It's probably not going to be his last game. But if he can have a game at all like last week, we're talking about he needs to have at least 2 touchdowns, right? Can he do better than that? 167 yards, 5.2 yards an attempt, and 88.9 rating. Can he be better than that?
We got to do better.
Can he do better than that? Can he drive the ball downfield?
It's going to be interesting to see if he can or can't. It's going to be a tough defense. They came to play. They came to win. Obviously, we don't do that. So I'm interested to see what he's going to do today. He's actually got some insane stats that are not good for him whatsoever. Actually, Angel just sent me some of this stuff. His 21.9% inaccurate throw rate was 24th out of 26 passers last week. On throws of 10 or more yards downfield, Gabriel has completed a league low 36.2, 17 out of 47 on throws 20 more yards down the field. He's only completed 20%, 2 of 10. He said I didn't have to say that today, but man, that's it. That's straight facts. And I don't know how you keep that in. That is backup quarterback stats, if that.
Yeah. And I don't know if that's even backup quarterback stats.
Yeah, I was
to be
going to
honest
say,
with you.
not only that, that's last week was his best game coming into the 5 games he's played, and that was still not good.
Yeah, and as Ken says, we were actually going to talk about it next. He was sacked 6 times, lost 47 yards against the Jets.
Yeah.
And I know the Baltimore defense this year isn't the defense that we're used to from Baltimore, but damn, if the Jets are doing that to you, Baltimore, you're in trouble against Baltimore.
Yeah.
Are we gonna run? How heavy are we gonna run tomorrow? Judkins had 75 yards rushing with a 3.4 average. Dylan Gabriel rushed for 54 yards last week. Ravens gave up 120 yards against the Vikings.
I think with our offensive line, that's going to be a struggle today or tomorrow. I keep thinking we're in last week. Last week we were live at the Moose. Today we are not on game day. But tomorrow is going to be tough for the offensive line. I hope they could figure out Baltimore's defensive line and pull off at least 100-yard game for Judkins would be amazing. But let's see what they could do. I mean, if the Vikings could do it, we can too, right?
I mean, yeah, you're going to have a heavy dose of the run tomorrow. And it's like that every week. Judkins is going to have to be the focal point of your offense. Jerry Jeudy finally had a game last week where, he had more than 70 yards. He caught a few passes. You're going to need him catching the ball again.
6 out of 12, though. I believe he had 2 drops. Still had 77 yards, which is cool, and a touchdown. But is he starting to finally learn how to catch the ball, or is him and Dylan Gabriel starting to finally mesh well? Is that going to be a number 1 receiver again, like we thought it was going to be in the beginning of the year? I doubt it. I have no idea with this team anymore, dude. The offense, I really don't.
I just, if you have Fannin, right? So Fannin had a good week last week. 4 receptions, 44 yards, and a touchdown, right? So if you're going to get him the ball, and you kept Njoku, you need to start getting both your tight ends the ball. Especially if you're going to have this short yardage passing game, then you need to start having these routes where both of your tight ends are your checkdowns.
And I don't know if you know this, but Harold Fannin actually leads the team in receiving right now. So,
yeah,
it's a tight end, it's not frowned upon. It's a rookie tight end that leads the team in receiving yards right now. I don't know. I wasn't expecting that, to say the least.
But you know what? I don't know why. Maybe the rookie part, but it seems like every year it's a tight end that leads us in receiving yards, going back to Gary Barnidge. It's always a tight end because we never have a downfield passing game. It's always a tight end. And if that's going to be the case, why aren't we featuring our 2 tight ends?
Yeah. Harry Clark, his completion rating is 58.6, I believe. Yeah, and then in college, he had a 65.2. So,
You know, the Ravens have held the last 4 games offenses to under 20 points, and we don't score 20 points. So the idea that we're gonna have a high scoring game, you throw that out the window.
yeah, we've not scored 21 points 8 of our 9 games.
And Ken, we do draft wide receivers high. We miss on them. You know, we draft wide receivers in the 2nd and 3rd round. We draft Corey Coleman in the top 10. You know, and I know that was a few years ago, but where did he end up? He was a bust. You know, and I also want to take some issue too. So I saw Angel had posted some clips from the last couple weeks' shows, and I got some grief over my take on Deshaun Watson. And I just want to, I don't know if I'm clarifying this, but I just want to put something out there, especially in the week where we're talking about the Browns and the Ravens. And I had said that something to the effect of, you know, I was okay with him getting, David Bell's another one who just retired, right?
Yeah, but he was worthless. Run fast, can't catch a ball.
Taken high, though.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But
so Deshaun Watson, he is on the books for a lot of money this year and a lot of money next year. You haven't had a first-round draft pick in 3 years because of the deal that you made for him. You're looking like the position that your franchise is in right now is because of the bust that trade was. And you're still paying this man's salary, and he's still up against the cap.
I think we're paying him till 28.
Right? So you are tired of this organization being a failure. We have it's like a 33% winning percentage against the Ravens since we've been back. Are you not tired of that?
I'm tired of losing, period.
You're tired of losing. As a Browns fan, I don't care who it is that is the quarterback at this point. I want a quarterback. I just want a good quarterback.
That
I don't care.
Actually puts up a fight and makes it look like a game.
Yeah. I want a quarterback that makes the game competitive. I want to have a chance to win, and I want sustained winning. If that guy happens to be Deshaun Watson, who we've already invested 3 first-round picks, how many second-round picks, and $234 million in, then let it be him.
At this point, I agree with you.
Why are you rooting against that? People are exhausted because it's been a failure. But guess what? He's still on the roster.
A quarterback that has shown some faith and won games here compared to what we have now, I think is a dramatic difference. And if I had to pick right now between Dylan Gabriel and Deshaun Watson, if you're able to put Deshaun Watson and put him in over what we have now, all day.
Guess what? You're going to be even more tired if it's not him. Because guess what? You had a guy and you traded him. You got rid of him for Deshaun Watson.
And Cleveland's going to eat that bullet for the rest of our lives.
And you know what? There's nobody on deck to save us. There's nobody.
There could be. We don't know that yet.
No, there's not. There's nobody coming up in that draft next year that's
I'm not talking about that's in the I'm talking about on the roster now.
But
right.
You gotta let them play. You gotta let them play.
That's what I'm saying. There could be.
But there's
are in the unknown. That emoji.
Guess what? His name's not Dylan Gabriel.
Definitely not. People like to bring up the Manning days where he threw his first 5 games or 4 touchdowns and 11 picks. Look at him. You can't get a sample size of 4 games and see somebody set somebody's career on that.
But he was also the first overall pick in that year's draft. He was a prodigy.
Yeah, we're a third round. We're at a third round.
Dylan Gabriel was a reach at a third round overall pick or a third round pick. Dylan Gabriel, people thought was a 5th or 6th round pick.
Do you think Dylan Gabriel could strive somewhere else on another team with a different offensive line, different receivers?
I don't know. I don't think Dylan Gabriel has the arm. That's the whole problem, is that Dylan Gabriel was able to stay in college the way as long as he did because he didn't have the arm.
Yeah.
You
Harry,
know?
this is
And
a
there
good
it is.
point. This is it. That's
People-
all we need to do.
People tend to forget shit. People tend to forget when you start winning. And that's it. And if Deshaun Watson is that guy that can start winning, then that is. And if he's not, then he's not. But at this point, if he comes back and you get that 21-day window, you've already invested this much in him.
I'll
And
give
if
you
you're
a
not
perfect.
If you're not going to let Shador play, then put him in.
I'll give you a perfect scenario. Kareem Hunt came here with baggage. We were winning. Everybody forgot about that.
Yep.
Now he's Kansas City. Let's bring it up again. That dude kicked a woman in Cleveland. And while he
her
was
in
on
the
the
head.
Chiefs, we let him go. We bring him here. Sorry,
Mhm.
the Chiefs let him go. We bring him here. He is winning. He's showing that he can play football.
Mhm.
And we all forgot about it.
Yeah.
When Deshaun Watson was winning or doing decent, we forgot about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's time to move on. Like I said, I would not mind Deshaun Watson being in here right now if we had the opportunity to do that. Are we saving Shador Sanders for next year? Or are we going to go with our first 2-round picks and draft another quarterback? And then you're going to have to bring in a veteran, right? Because they're going to have Shador Sanders and Dylan Gabriel year 1 are coming into their second year. And then another rookie quarterback. You're going to have to bring in another veteran. We're going to be at the 4-quarterback scenario again. And next year's preseason will be a hell of a show with all the quarterback controversy we're at again. It's just, we're going to find that out real quick at the end of the year. I just want a quarterback on his team, somebody that can throw the ball more than 10, 15 yards. I want receivers on his team that can catch the ball, whether or not be a little behind them, a little in front of them. Catch the ball. It's your job. Let's get into the defensive side of things while we're getting heated over here.
And defensive game plans brought to you by Cleveland Ketchup. It's the only ketchup that exists in our world.
And mustard and mayonnaise and great potato chips as well. Go to www.clevelandketchup.com. Use our code BEARDED at checkout for 10% off. And I promise you will not be mad. Awesome ketchup, mustard, mayonnaise, and potato chips. Try the ghost pepper chips. They're awesome. Actually, I sent a fan of the show 5 bags of chips, and he should be getting them today. So, as well as hopefully ordering some stuff from them. But yeah, today's game plan or tomorrow's game plan for defensive scenario is you got to contain Lamar. He ran last week for 34 yards, sneaky, but you got to be aware he's getting his legs back slowly but surely. This is his 3rd game back, I believe, and he is going to show Cleveland what's up. I believe. I think he's going to run all over us, unfortunately. But
unless we'll see, man. You know, they still are leg injuries, so those things can be tricky. So what we're really going to need is, you know, pressure from that defensive line, and Myles Garrett is going to have one of those games again. You know, so it's really Myles Garrett's going to be carrying this team. The defense is going to have to carry the team. If we're going to have a shot, it's going to be Myles Garrett, you know, shutting him down again. You know, the Ravens were 6 of 15 on 3rd down and 2 of 5 in the red zone. You know, the Browns allow a score 38.9% of the time in the red zone, 31st in the league. So we're pretty much in last. So we're going to have to keep them out of the red zone. You know, a lot of those red zone scores are bad field position that the offense puts them in. You know, so we're going to need a little bit more out of the offense to help that defense.
even kicker Tyler Loop last week had 4 field goals. So keep him out of field goal range if we can. That's going to be crucial. 3 points to a Browns defense is crucial when your offense can't score points.
Yeah,
so,
you have to stop Derrick Henry. You know, we're talking about our run game. Their run game is ridiculous. You know, so you're going to have to stop Derrick Henry. You're going to have to take care of Zay Flowers. They've got a pretty explosive offense over there.
Especially with Zay Flowers, man. Zay Flowers, that's their number one receiver right now. So you got to look out for him. I had his stats up here. Where did I put them? I believe he had 77 yards last week with like 6 catches or something like that. I don't remember where I put this. I thought I put it in the notes, but apparently I did not. So happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday. Lamar Jackson only had 176 passing yards last week. But every week he gets better. He gets healthier. It's his 3rd game back from injury in week 4. So, we'll see. But it's one of those things. Like I said, it's a leg injury. So, those leg injuries can be tough. Once you hurt your leg, sometimes those things can be funny. So you can hurt it again real easy. Could be something non-contact, or maybe Miles can help that thing along and hurt him again. But
he had 1 touchdown last week with averaging 6.1 yards attempt with an 87.7% rate.
So he's not throwing too much better than our guy Dylan Gabriel at the moment, but so it's just our secondary is going to be hurt a little bit. Ward's sick. It's really just going to kind of be a toss up. This is going to be one of those games where the Browns shouldn't win tomorrow. But if fate has it that way, any given Sunday in the NFL, Browns could maybe pull something off. I just don't see it. That Ravens offense is just explosive. They've put up 27 points in the last 3 games. We're giving up 23 points a game. And, it's just not on the defense. It's the offense just puts them in bad positions every week.
Well, last week, the defense last week against the Jets only gave up 13 points. The special teams gave up the rest, unfortunately. But they're 3-11 on 3rd down, 0-2 in the red zone against the Jets. Special teams needs to show up tomorrow. Held for the last 5 opponents under 24 points. So last week was just a what do you call that? I want to say it's a bad word, but I can't. Last week was a shit show. I'll say that. I had other things in mind, but special teams gave up that win. Absolutely gave up that win.
For sure. I mean, it was a typical Browns game. It was who said that? It's the Browns being the Browns, right?
Browns is the Browns.
Browns is the Browns.
Schuster. That's who it was. We did hold Justin Fields to 54 yards last week. We had the same effect on Lamar at home. Our stats versus home and away are dramatically different than it's insanely different. Our away versus home stats defensively. Obviously away, we always give up a game. Defensively at home, we're usually pretty good, pretty dominant. So hoping tomorrow will be different here. We're going to get into score predictions here shortly, but I want everybody to let us know your score prediction in the chat. I haven't gotten Chad's stats yet, or score prediction yet, because what he's going to do is he's going to wait till after the game, and then he's going to put his score up and be like, "Oh man, look at that, guys! I guessed it exactly right." So
make sure
Chad,
make sure you guys like and subscribe, share the podcast. That helps us out with the algorithms.
And you will win a gift certificate from Lego Heads Barbershop and Saloon in Berea. And I will also send you a bottle of the extra sauce for your little or big beard. Or some, if you're in Gary's case, medium beard. I think Angel's beard's bigger than mine, though. I don't know.
All right, so let's get into score predictions here. So we'll start off with you.
I am going to go 28-14 Ravens, and I'm going to call 1 touchdown pass from Gabriel and Judkins running one in as well, and that's about all we're going to get. And I think those first two scores we're going to get are going to be in the first half. The second half, we're going to be dominated. They're going to come out with a halftime game plan that's going to just walk all over us, unfortunately. And I think special teams is going to give up another touchdown. I really do, man. I really do.
Wow. So I'm going to go 31-17 in the Mortal Kombat mirror match. Old Browns versus New Browns, with the I guess it'd be the Old Browns beating the New Browns. And I think that Dylan Gabriel is going to get hurt. And they're going to have to put Shador in.
Or Bailey Zappi in.
Or Bailey Zappi in. All joking aside, 31-17. I don't know who's going to get the touchdowns here. It's not going to be a very close game. We got Angel coming in with a 27-13 Ravens and Sam 27-20 Ravens. So it is a clean sweep for the old Browns.
Oh, we got Shane at 27-17 for the Ravens as well. He's down there on the other sheet. Chad will predict his score tomorrow after the win, so he's correct on it.
That's right.
And
it's usually how the doctors do it, right?
Yeah. They always got to be right.
Because so they tell you afterwards. They go, no, that was cancer.
Oh, man. But again, guys, before we leave, today in North Ridgeville, Browns Backers Bash, 1 to 3:30 between the bun, out North Ridgeville, between the bun. Special appearances by Felix Wright and the Tito's Vodka Girls. Go get your Tito's on today. 50-50 and autograph photo raffles. And then, oh, my neighbor just texted me, 35-10 Ravens. If you're going to the game next week in Vegas, special guests Gary Barnage and Eric Metcalf, hosted by the Vegas Dog Pound, Browns Backer Bash. They'll have a t-shirt on special there for $20. Plenty of drinks because, you know, as a Cleveland fan, that's what we do. We drink. But yeah, get down there to Vegas, lose all your money, go bankrupt, get a divorce, and hate the Browns.
That's right. And you guys, when you're down there, let's get this started. Eric Metcalf, we got two things for Eric Metcalf. Eric Metcalf for the Hall of Fame and Eric Metcalf in the front office.
Put a Metcalf in.
Put a Metcalf in. Hire a Metcalf.
All right. Is that all you got, Gary?
That's all I got. Hello there. Goodbye there.
Well, be sure to join us Tuesday, 7:30, all platforms. It'll be me, Angel, and Chad. Chad will give you your score prediction there. But until then, we will see you guys 7:30.
Dog
shit.
Ooh, 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 ooh.